Hey everyone, Jackie Hay here of Hey Hey Creations. I have decided for the month of January to release a short video every day of the things that I'm working on, both in my art studio or just things at home, house projects, and I'm going to share them with you. I'm usually a pretty private person, but I figured this will give you some insight on how I make the things I make and how much goes into them. And yeah, just get to know me a little bit better. So this is going to be a little experiment and we'll see how it goes. I hope you enjoy. All right, here we go. Okay, so here's my next house project. My daughter has named every room in the house. This is the cozy place. So we have these really tall walls leading down to the stairs. And then we have a pull down ladder to our attic. But these walls are really, really tall, really, really dirty. There's a hole I need to patch. They had it was a crank, like you would put ice in and then crank it and it would crumble the ice. It was, I guess, from the 50s. So that's what was there. And then these really rundown steps that I'm gonna tear up and I'm gonna paint them. So this is the before, and they're really, our cats got to them, they're really gross. So the stairs are getting torn up, and we're gonna put a fresh paint job on all this, so stay tuned. Okay, so I am going to be using this Smooth Cast 322 Part A and B to make my 2 gingerbread men for my December giveaway winner. So here's our silicone molds, and then here are the molds for the lollipops. And I'm gonna be putting in some eyeballs right into those little holes here. 1, 2, and then I'm going to mix equal parts A and B of the resin and pour it in. Before I pour it in though, I do want to take some rubber bands and just secure the molds just by wrapping the rubber band around it like that. I'll probably do 3 or 4 on each. Okay, so here we go. Let's pour some resin into our molds to make a couple gingerbread cards. Okay, so I have about 8 ounces of part A and B of the Smooth Cast in my cup. I'm using my scale here. It's set to ounces, and I am just stirring this up. You should always wear gloves and have good ventilation anytime you are working with resin. I'm going to stir this for about a minute. And then when it's well mixed, I'm just going to slowly pour it into one of my molds. And when you're pouring, you should have a nice thin line. I'm trying to film and pour, so it's a little difficult, but just go slow and pour that resin right in there. Depending on the type you're working with, it'll cure faster or slower. This type takes, I want to say, about an hour to cure. The kind that I usually work with for these takes about 5 minutes to cure. So it just depends on what type of resin you're using. Okay, so all of my molds are filled, and I'm just going to wait for them to cure. Little tip, always have a couple extra molds just in case you make a little too much resin. That way you have something available to fill the extra resin with. Always a good idea. And as you can see, there's rubber bands around each of the molds just to keep them nice and secure. And if you look inside the cookie molds, you'll see the little plastic eyes inserted into the mold. Roxy, hey. Indy, Good boy.